Okay, starting off round 2 of the regional, we've got Gallantmon versus Gankoo X. It's going to be an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Gallantmon kind of built for speed, wants to go in and get the kill. Gankoo X wants to make a wide board of uninteractable guys, usually backed up by some floodgates that make it so it's really hard for you to play through. Starting off here, looks like it is Gankoo going first. Going to be Uko in the back, so we're going to find pieces. There are a couple of pieces you need to set up Gankoo and have it be meaningful. On the other hand, starting off with Guillemon in the back. At this point, looks like we are digging for anything meaningful here. Probably don't have a boost or training. There's the boost up the top. But a lot of the times you don't want to go into that X in the back unless you really need that draw. Looks like we're taking the Omni, so not exactly lacking on the 6s. Big finishing piece probably means we're not finding what we're actually looking for. And immediately dropping those cards off of the Uko search to find Gankoo X. Again, we're looking for the finisher pieces here. Looks like it's going to be Huckmon in the back that will be able to discount the play of Gankoomon later on, so it does make it a little bit less committal. To go up that slam, we see the fakest Floodgate versus Gallantmon. The Shamanmon, I believe, in this situation, it's basically Red Gazimon. However, whenever it gets deleted by these effects for the Gallantmon, that's when all the memory gain comes in, so it doesn't actually stop any mem gain. It is, however, preventing the Gallantmon player from deleting the Ukomon instead, unless we're committing a little extra. We do commit the boost. We are going into the War Growl. It is going to actually pop that Uko, so we aren't going to get everything that we want. Looks like we are we're potentially going to be able to get Gankoo going here so that we don't just get killed by Gallant next turn. Maybe thinking about the play here. Okay, we are going into the Bowhawk, and there goes the Gankoo with the ability going to evolve into Gankoo X. We get a little D-Digivolve, a little bit of board protection, and a lot of memory for Guillemon to work with. Really cool boy for some searching. Ooh, double hitter. Love to see it. Gonna be Gallant X and the X antibody. So it's looking like it's a more lean build. Probably not going to be too worried about getting those Tocados online. But we are going to be finding our pieces to KO as fast as we can. Gallant does get very large, so there is a world where we are able to swing through this pressure, especially with all this memory that we have. So we're just going to Evo up in the back. Back to the front. 2 level 4s in play. Get that free extra draw. So this is going to be 2 draws, 3 draws even. 1 for Digivolving, 1 for the Cool Boy, 1 for the effect of Growl X. We're going to have to pitch 1. Looks like we don't need the War Growl X here. Not going to be doing a whole lot when the board is not able to be interacted with. Cool Boy's going to grab the 1 target that we can find again, so 2 Omni X in hand. We are very prepared for the end game if we can make it there. Not a lot of memory given back to the Gankoo X here, but that is pretty typical. Also pretty typical that we'll just see them kind of slam cards. Could be threatening, of course, or you can. Could be threatening Maybe some Ragna stuff. Just one check at the 13. See if there's a way that we can re-enable a Gankoo play. And here we, yeah, not too difficult when you just have all the pieces in hand. We're going to re-stand off the reboot. And now, again, the whole board is immune, essentially. Up to Gallant to figure it out. Again, this is the immovable object. Gallant, normally the unstoppable force, but currently being stopped. Gonna grab the 4 because we've went through a couple of them already here. And been Digivolved all the way back down. If we want to build anything with this stack in the front, we are going to have one. Got a 3 memory here. Likely just boosting time or Evo time. Would love to be able to turn this into a Growl X, and there it is. We gain 2 memory off the cool boys, draw 2 cards, draw for Digivolve, draw for Growl X. Oh boy. There really is nothing like the card advantage that you find playing Digimon the trading card game. It is so cool to just have a grip full of cards. I don't think we're too worried about dying here. We just want to set up as much as we can. Going into the 5, not going to get anything off of it because, as we mentioned, currently none of the Digimon are affected by opponent's Digimon effects because of that Gankoo X. There is a world, I don't know if we're doing much of it with 1 memory, but there is a world that maybe, depending on the trash, there's a Gallantmon play for the Gankoo player. We could swing 4 checks, pop one of our own Gankoos with a Gallant promo, but I'm not sure that there's enough in trash for it to be quite cheap enough. Gain some memory off the hook. Definitely have 4 swings. The question is, can we, with 2 memory, eke out a last 5th swing? Maybe off of a Just GX proc, we could find something like that. Oh, we're going all the way up to the 5. Not too often that I see a Savior hook. Oh, I guess. You know, I guess that is just a thing that you can do now that we have access to this Jess line. As you do get to play the full Jess line pretty lean, kind of how Jess has been, very toolboxy and lean. Like lean on your options, but toolboxy and what you're picking. It's like 2 and 3-0s. What is the Fury Rune doing back there? Oh, that's our token. So the Jess is gonna play a sister for free, then play the token for free. Reboot and pass, yeah. So Jess, pretty sick line. Our entire board is affected now though, so we do have to worry about Gallant just ripping everything to shreds. We do have both Hook and Royal Knight in play, so Blanc has Decoy. but everything is very touchable. The protection effect from Gankoo X is only the turn that it digivolved. We've well past that, and Jess is all offense. Okay. So we're gonna -4 the sister, then we're gonna pop a 10k. Okay, get rid of the Huck. Of course, we gain memory back from our inheritables. We're still holding on. Is there going to be a way? Maybe missing the line where they were able to pop the token off that, because I think the token's only 6k, right? Yeah, the token's 6k, so in theory we could have popped that instead of the Huck. But either way, clearing the full board. This is a very big Omni-X. Given a lot of memory back to Gankoo X, so there's a very real world we just slam our Gankoo again. But we need to find the combo pieces. By combo pieces, I mean we need to have another copy of Gankoo X in hand. And the fact that it hasn't already come down, I think, is a sign that we might be safe. And even if not, just having raid on this big guy means it's going to be hard to slam anything, because Gankoo doesn't make him any bigger, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's just the board's unaffected, but big blockers don't do much against bigger attackers. I think we're maybe just hoping that there's not a clear line for Gallant lethal, but with two cool boys in the back, sitting on a Growlmon that can turn into a Growlex that's going to draw 30 cards and gain enough memory to go into your 5 that can probably evolve into your 6 for free. I think the writing's on the wall here, unless there's some kind of security bomb. Yeah, I guess the best thing is just go into the Gankoo X, get the D-Digivolve 2, so now we've got all the way back to the 5. We don't have as big of a threat with the Omni anymore, but we've got 10 memory to get there, so I guess the trickiest part is that Gallant actually usually wants to pass memory over to opponents before we gain some stuff back, so and that could pose some small concerns, but there's usually ways to dump your hand and dump memory if you need to. Staying in the back. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, this Gankoo is... I guess it's really scary when you don't have the immunity, because just GX Ace is just a threat. But it only removes something as big as it, and usually Gallant is gonna be bigger than 16. I mean, I think if we don't threaten anything here, there's a world where Gankoo X takes advantage of that and just swings out. We do have the ace in hand, so we're probably not just turning everything sideways. And we do see Takados. Just one, set that memory. We have basically blitz. So we're rating it +8, so we're 18, or no, we're 20k. So even if we did try to go into just GX ace, not only are we immune, but we're bigger, so we can't be popped anyway, and we're rating into the Gankoo, so that would just be a memory bank for Gallant. Gankoo's just gotta let it die and take this hit. I believe the Gallant race stands here. Unless I'm crazy. Which is possible. Maybe the one Digi. Maybe he burned it on the Windigi timing. We're going in the bow hook. We do have the Garnet boost in the back, so we could go Savior Hook and Jess. And swinging, usually swinging after passing the memory is pretty good into Gallant because then they become affected again. But we know that we have Gallant Ace in hand, Crimson mode. Crimson mode certainly deals with the board. Play Shaman. Okay, I mean this is what Gankoo does. It recycles Gankoo forever. Now the Shaman is protected, so this it actually becomes a real floodgate against Gallant because we can't pop it and then gain memory. We can't pop anything. And I think at this point Gankoo is just hoping that we've de-digivolved Gallamon and completely out of resources. We still have that other 4 in the back, and I think there's a world where we're keeping it there so that we don't deck ourselves out. Because here if we wanted to go into like Growlix and draw cards, might just be too many cards. Crimson Blaze doesn't do a darn. Oh no. Crimson Blaze works here because Gankoo only protects from Digimon effects. So Crimson Blaze does clear out all the little guys. For 3 cost, gaining memory back off the inheritables, and then we're going into War Growl. Yeah, counting cards in deck, we don't want to go too hard. I think debating on War Growl effect here if we want to do the discounted Warp Evo. Yeah, the cause for debate here is we want to go into War Growl X, get our little boost. Now we have security attack +1. Takado's going to let us blitz. Potentially Gankoo's last turn here. Not going to be able to push anything up, so there's no pressure being applied to Gallant. Yeah, and then we're scooping it up, go to the next game. There is the trouble with the style of deck that Gankoo X is. You can put up an infinite wall, but you do still have to kill your opponent. And Gallant is just big. So sometimes he's big and immune and ignores kind of the wall that you put up. Having access to raid is a pretty big deal, because it doesn't matter if your Digimon are immune. If they are smaller, you're still going to swing over them, and you have to give a Gallant a lot of memory, so they're going to have ideal stacks at the end of the game to handle you. Yeah, banter between games, wondering how we're going to gain immunity when there's 10 memory passed. That is, I mentioned it, a real concern for Gallant is sometimes if you give them too much memory, it becomes tricky for them to pass turn with their Gallant Evos. And they need the memory gauge to be on the opponent's side to have their immunity. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. Looks like we're mulling again. Ooh, okay. I would imagine Gankoo likes going second here. Force the Gallant to go first. A little bit less consistency. Okay, that makes sense to me. Gankoo says they want to go second. Yeah, force the Gallant to start things off. If it's not the smoothest, then you're going to get a little bit extra memory to set up, and then hopefully set up something like a Gankoo only giving your opponent like 4 memory, 3 or 4 memory. In a perfect world, if we can set up something like the Savior or the Bowhawk rather. Alright, we grab the Gankoo. We need to have Gankoo X access. We got the GX now. We don't need a second Shaman as long as we're able to protect it. We've got 2 boosts in the back. So more than likely we are going to be able to hit what we need. Just going to be Takano set to 1, Mem setter. So Gallant is set on memory, but not really committed to too much here. We have the Bowhawk online for the cost reduction. Looks like we hit the searcher, so we're going to look for Gallant. Guillemon X. Just going to go in the back because we are desperately missing a piece, it seems. Potentially the 4. Oh, here comes the 4. I mean, I guess just being able to cantrip 1 card is not bad. I just love to get that dig 3. It's so much value. Especially in a Cool Boy build, I would love to hold it and be able to put Cool Boys on the table before going into them, but yeah, in this position, looks like we were missing some stuff, so we want to go into X-Ante in the back, get our extra draws. Okay, table tapping already. There's surely we don't have lethals already. I think Gankoo's genuinely asking, hey, does Gallant kill me from this position? And let me tell you, when there's a will, there's a way. Gallant can certainly do 6 checks. Looks like we're just going to be discounting the sister so that we get a extra draw 2 by pitching the Crimson Blaze. Not particularly useful in this matchup. Decent into the format for sure. Does a lot into stalling out Hoodie. There's a good number of purple decks that would curse that card. Let me tell you, my Otis is not looping anything with that. But the heavy debate here, just passing. So maybe we don't have the Gankoo X that we really need to gain all the immunity. We are just a memory farm for this Gallant. I mean, we pull out, we're going to be able to gain a little bit of memory off of the deletions here. Fucking X-Ante. So that we're able to go straight into Morgral X. We are saving this savior with decoy. So we're not going to gain any memory off of that. Pop mem boost, go to 3. Looks like we have a Gallant play. The 3 gains 1 off the deletion here. And we can't play any Digimon from trash. Gallant on a pseudo Crimson Blaze. Just locking off a portion of the game. Okay, leaving the Gallant active, so likely don't have the Gallant X to feel particularly safe, but I can't imagine you're worried about this guy being removed unless the Gankoo X wants to like hard drop an Oryukin. I don't imagine that's the worst feeling in the world anyway. Pop double boost. And incoming Gankoo? Or just the Jest GX? I mean, Jest GX will still pop the Gallant here. So kind of the same idea as the Oryukin. Just gonna be a hard play of a guy that's probably not getting removed in response, although we could see promo Gallant putting in some work here. Just GX doesn't really have any kind of protection at this point. Yeah, that Gallant Crimson mode only pops up to 15k DP. So we just dropped it for fun here. That's extra bad too, because our removal effect is also when attacking and is going to clear this for free. So that's 5 free memory that you have just for swinging in this GX Ace. That's 16k. If we have anything to tuck, it will both unsuspend and trash a security. It's always going to unsuspend on attack. Now swing, tuck, restand. Trash the top security. Pop the Crimson, check 1. When attacking is once per turn, so we're not going to trash any more. And with all this memory, I think we could just slam another Gankoo and have a grand old time. I think this is a go next for time angle from Gallant, if I'm real. After playing the Crimson there, it is a tough scenario. We're gonna drop the seal. Because Really sick card. Gives access to, even more access to Digivolve if this is the seal that I'm thinking of. Yeah, new CL, she's a blocker. On play is removal. And then when it suspends, we get D-Digi1. Really, really cool card. Ooh. And then double suspend so that we play out Medieval. That's not bad. Your opponent, just the 3 memory to work with. Medieval on board doesn't do a whole lot into regular old Gallant. Usually they'll pop him on the way up and won't have to play much of anything. Would threaten a scramble if we had it, but that's not really a concern. They're going to pop the CL, gain some memory. The board is very affected. Here's the thing. So if we are able to pop the GX, we've got enough inheritables to be able to boost to pop the Medieval. Man, it's got to feel really bad to not have a Gankoo into Gankoo X line here. Ooh. Yeah, really fair play. We need the name or the X antibody in the sources to get the pop effect off of our War Growl. So still living with the Medieval. It's got to feel a little bit better. I'm getting really hard about the next one, so I can't imagine this is looking good for Gallant. Goes for 4 into Gallant X. So we do still pop the Medieval. We didn't gain the DP because we don't have the sources, so we are only 12k. Or no, I think we're 15 because we boosted off of the War Growl. But we're certainly not big enough to swing over GXAs. We are immune though, so GX is not going to pop the Gallant. We can swing Trash a Security, check 1, and restand to leave Gallant at 1 security left. And then from Gallant X on board, I really don't think that they're killing here. I mean, they got 2 checks restand. If you put a body on board to get popped, you'll give them memory, but you will force them to pop it instead of restanding. Just debating how to make sure we don't get killed by Gallant on the crackback here. There's no Gallant in the sources, there's no X-Ante in the sources. So we do only need 1 body to prevent the restand. If we think that they're going to tuck the old X-Ante, which we have seen them play, then 2 bodies. And there we have the old X-Ante in hand now, so we do need to put 2 bodies out, or we're just immune. Digivolve, we've got Reboot, 0 security left, a level 4, 5 memory, and a Dream. Felix in the back. Not gonna get much stake here, going straight into the 5. Do we have the warp? No warp. That ex-ante we hit. Going into Gallant, we have to get that trash. Alright, now going into game 3. That was the unstoppable force never got started. Definitely a big pivotal misplay turn where we just drop a Crimson Ace into just gave your opponent 3 memory boosts for free. But the glaring problem aside, I think that Gankoo X was just a little too far ahead for Gallant to match pace. And this is kind of why, especially in these slower games, I feel like after a play like that, I would have scooped so that I have a chance to play out a game 3 if I'm Gallantmon. Because, yeah, they're going into not a lot of time left in this round. And still setting up for the next game. Definitely things to consider. There's a lot of elements to gameplay that go beyond just putting the cards down. But we are going to start first as Gallant. And then just slam our 4. And this is another reason why you might just want to force the Gankoo player to go first. You're playing the combo deck that requires a lot of pieces. You have a lot of searchers. The likelihood that you miss a rookie is low, but you saw that they preferred going second last game anyway. They're gonna give you some memory to rev their engines. Do we find the rookie here off the top? Nope, it's just another 4 getting hard dropped, and I don't think this deck has any problems with removal. We're going to gain a memory off of the Huckmon. Look for that boost, see what we can find. Grab Huck for next turn. Don't really need the GX. Get our draw off that Koro. We do hit a training, so if we don't get rid of this 4, it could be a bad time, but we do just go into that medieval 7 memory, no big deal. You know your opponent didn't have a rookie last turn. They do top deck it here. Off to the races. Straight into the 4 in the back. Cool boy for the searches. Probably going to hold that 4 for next turn to gain memory off that cool boy. As if we have any other searchers. Like pretty much literally any other searchers here. The cause for pause might be the lack of search cards, so we're debating whether maybe we want to just go ahead and put it in the back. Give up that cool boy guarantee next turn. Set up the 5. Nope, we're just going to drop a 4. Immediately have it die on entry to the ability of Medieval. But we have only given 2 memory over to Gankoo X. Big old board so far, though. Start of turn, we're going to pitch 1 off of the Huck. Looks like it's the little baby boy that we picked up off of our search earlier. And it is full of them, perhaps? Not a lot of time left, it sounds like. I mean, we've got an Alliance swing for 2 checks already on board. We put Gotsu online. If we can drop a Bonnie, we have 4 checks here, but we don't have lethal that I can see. Because I don't imagine that this Gankoo X is playing Omni X. Most of them are just going to be Jess GX. Now, Jess GX... I don't think Jess GX naturally has Raid. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be hitting a lethal turn if we're using one of our live bodies for the Alliance. Draw off the Koro. That's fine, though. I mean, we're very, very set up here for lethal next turn. Pop a boost just to draw some extra cards with this Plonk. A little bit of protection. Maybe go into a Savior or Bow here. Yeah, Bow Huck, sorry, not Savior. Bow Huck would not be bad. Yeah, Bow Huck in the back. Just 1 memory. Now, it's a fake 1 memory because we are going to gain 1 off of this cool boy, and we do have the trading that we hit earlier, so we can for sure make it to the level 6. Training is going to put us down to 1, and then we will be able to pass turn going to the 6. Now the question is it too little too late? We have a live medieval. We've got decoy on both of the sisters. For red and black, I believe. So they can get down Mr. President for this Huckmon. Yeah. Not gonna let that happen. Certainly not. Get down Mr. President. And then here we go. Pop that X ante under. We're gonna go into the Growl X. Let's go and attempt the Huck. Letting it go here. Don't think it really makes a huge difference at this point. Because I believe going into a Gallant X is a full board clear here. We're triggering the +4/-4 to get rid of the sister and then the Papa 10k. Oh, we're swinging here. I mean, Ace Pop here is just insane, right? Like, what's the reason not to? You go in there. I guess the worry would be you're worried about promo Gallant, but promo Gallant at this point, I mean, we've not really seen. Yeah, it doesn't have a red source anymore to play red cards, so we're just playing Takato. And then this is a GX with the ability to swing, trash 1, check 1, right? And then just swing for game. Trash 1, check 1, restand, and yeah, get right in there. And that is the movable object not being moved. It does have a win condition, so that's pretty nice seeing it finish off. Good stuff to the Gankoo. Really cool to see the Jess splash in there, doing what it's supposed to, and Jess GX is just an incredible card, so certainly expect to see more of that moving forward. That's going to be round 2. Moving on to round 3 here pretty soon.